Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Marriage is Tougher Than Woodpecker Lips podcast. This is Brian.
And I'm Paul. We'd like to welcome you to a community meant for the men of the world to share our thoughts and perspectives on marriage.
We can learn from each other's experiences and help each other be better husbands. Now, let's get right into the show. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the pod. Also, welcome to our newcomers. Today, we've got a nice little topic for you, Heart of Not Deserving. We're going to unpack that, give you a little story, and tell you exactly what we mean by not deserving and how that might change your relationship.
Yeah, and as you're listening, we just want to encourage you to reach out to us. We're trying to engage in the community, so you can hit us up on Facebook, Instagram. Check us out on YouTube if you want to see our faces, and also just searching Marriage is Tougher. And you can always visit our website, marriageistoffer.com. If you want to be a guest, we have a form that you can fill out, and we can talk through that and just have you on the show. But ultimately, we just want to continue to build a community of men trying to win in their marriage. So just continue on and listen to the show, and we'll get right into it.
Hey, so this Heart of Not Deserving, man, it hits me pretty hard because I just recently got into that show Yellowstone. Are you familiar with that?
Not particular. I know it's popular, and I know it's in the West. That's pretty much all I got.
Yeah, so it's based in Montana, which is really neither here nor there. Well, it is there, but you know, neither here nor there. But I've been blowing through the show the last 4 seasons, or the first 4 seasons, excuse me, and they just introduced this kid into the show. And basically, if you're not familiar with the show, it takes place on a ranch, and they give a lot of I'll call them down and outers a second chance to become someone on the ranch. So this kid comes in, he's about the age of 14, and he's still struggling as a 14-year-old might with authority.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who kind of takes him under his wing tells him, you know what, the secret to not losing this is to basically tell yourself that you don't deserve it. Right. And so as long as you keep that mindset that I don't deserve this, the message he was trying to get across is you're going to work harder for it. Because if you feel like you don't deserve something, inherently you feel like you could lose it. Right. And so when I was looking at this on our list of topics, I thought to myself, man, why is it so easy for us to have the thought that within our relationship with God, the things that he gives us, the love that he gives us, we don't deserve it. But then we don't always quite have that same mentality when it comes to our marriage. So let's dive into that.
Yeah, that is a gut check, and not in. Let me just start off. We're not saying that our wife/marriage is on par with God, right? Like that's not what we're saying. But what we are saying is we need to take a deeper look at how we show our value or think about the value of our relationship. Because I think it's intrinsic, as we're talking about it, it's intrinsic to know that it's important and to know that it's solid and it be like in the back around. Like I know our relationship's good. I know it is a high priority. Everything I'm doing is for my marriage and my family, right? But how do we move that to the front? Right? How does it become more ingrained to know that this is a gift? This isn't something that just is. Like we need to, just like in the show, like we need to put in the work, but also even value the challenge because it doesn't have to be this good,
Mm-hmm.
or it doesn't even have to be. right? I don't have to be married to Crystal.
Right.
I choose every day to be married to her. So, like, how do I come with that? It's really coming in humility, really.
Yeah.
That's what that's about, I think.
Yeah. And I like that word choose. You choose every day to be married, right? I choose every day to be married to Katie. My thing is, are we choosing all the way? Right. And so let me unpack that just a little bit so everyone understands what I mean. I mean, are we choosing to be fully married? Right? Are we choosing to fully give all of ourselves every day? It's easy to say, yeah, I'm choosing to be married every day, as in like I'm not walking out the door. That's okay. Right. You made a commitment, blah, blah, blah. But are you fully executing on all of your commitment every day?
What? Man, I mean, that really just hits me in the gut. Um, am I being thoughtful enough to think about what fully means
Mm-hmm.
and how to fully execute? Right? Have I taken time to process what that means? Have I talked to my wife to figure out that's what it means for us? Right? Because in my mind, I might say this is how it is to fully show up, to fully choose, but that might not be best for the both of us, right?
Right.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I mean, and just like you said, you might think at moments, yeah, I'm doing this fully. And then are you fully ready to get punched in the face when she's like, no, you have a shortcoming here. So I need more. Right. And that's, you know, prior to the show, we were talking a little bit, catching up. Um, God has put us in a place where we had uh, a few episodes recorded. So we took a little bit of a break over the holiday, which was nice. Um, so we're happy to be back. But yeah, man, I feel like it's easy to trick yourself because it's very easy to just fall into going through the motions, right? We set up systems for certain things, and we do that to make our lives more convenient. But sometimes does it go a little too far, and we we fall into that pattern, and we think, oh yeah, we're doing okay, but maybe lose track of our growth mindset when things, like you say, are good but not great.
Yeah, it's do we systemize ourselves out of being active, right? Like you said, everything is on autopilot, or we know this when this happens, and when we do this will be it, and um, yeah, just being actively attentive, like looking around. Okay, what is going on? How can I lean in more? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's never a time where you should be like, no, I'm good, or like I'd like actually like less of this. Right? I like less of
Ah,
this amazingness. I know it's like what how can we be more how can we be better? Like how can we how can I be more available? How can I let her know that I'm here? And I mean I struggle with that because it is good per se, right? Like I know that she knows I'm never gonna walk away,
mm-hmm.
right? And she knows I know the same thing. So it's like, okay, when you have that foundation and you're communicating enough. Might not be optimal, it might not be the best, but you're communicating enough. Um, it can seem good,
Mm-hmm.
but then you think, what am I communicating about? Right? Are we just talking about the day-to-day life things? Or am I checking in and saying, "Hey, how are you? Like, how are you feeling physically? And if that's an issue, how is that affecting your thought? Oh, you just went through this. How are you feeling? Like, how can I help you? What's going on, right? Are you having those personal, like, I see you as a human being questions? And I struggle with that because to me, it feels like if I'm talking at all, that's that's a good thing. But I have to raise the bar for myself again, thinking about undeserving, right? I have to raise the bar. Like, yeah, I have an amazing wife who gives me grace and who takes care of all these things and allows our house to run, even though she's a full time. She works full time as well, right? So
Mm.
it's this amazing setup that I have. Um, but how can I lean in and be better as like a check in? Like, I see you. How can I let her know that I see her?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking about the word deserving, and I don't feel like this is an either or topic, right? Because I don't go through my marriage thinking like I deserve this or that.
Hmm.
But having the mindset that I am undeserving of this gift of a wife that God has given me sets me up, if I'm accepting of that, sets me up to always want to be better, like we're saying, right? And always want to work on myself, but primarily always want to show that I'm trying to earn the gift that God has given me. Does that make sense?
That does. Um, and I was just looking up the definition of deserving as you were saying, and it kind of, I'm just going to read it. It says, worthy of being treated in a particular way, typically of being giving assistance.
Hmm.
So I just started thinking, like, as far as marriage goes, like, I don't ever want, because I love to serve and I want to serve my wife, I don't ever want to come off I, like she needs to serve me,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think this goes back to how we want to think about our marriages. We want to serve our spouse. And I think coming off and realizing you don't, coming with a undeserving mindset means like I'm here to serve. And whatever that is, that's what we need to do. And again, it comes back to humility. Are you willing to serve? And do you remember that you're here to serve?
Yes.
Right? Like,
Yeah. That could be the tough part. Again, because it becomes so easy to just take a break, right? Something that I always go back to is the dishes, because I would say that my wife and I both hate doing the dishes. Her probably more than I, but it's very easy for me to say, you know what, I'm going to do that later. It's just that simple for me, right? And even knowing that she would prefer that I prioritize it and have it done and not have to think about it anymore. And even in prior conversations, we've spoken about like it takes 5 minutes, just knock it out. It's not a big deal. Sometimes I fall to that weakness of nah, I'm gonna sit down for 5 minutes and then I'll get back to it, right?
mhm.
And all that to say, to tie it back into like non-deserving, right? If you were at work and there was a task that you were assigned, but you felt like you were trying to earn a promotion, you're not going to put that task on the back burner. You're going to make sure it's done on time every time. And then you're going to maybe seek credit for it, right? That could be a piece of this, which I'll get into in a moment. But if that's the person you are, you're trying to grow within your company, you're going to make sure those things are done on time every time without having to be asked, right? And we don't always do that at home or within our marriage. And I don't know that it's because we think we deserve something, but I think if we took that mindset into these quote unquote remedial tasks, it could help your household to run smoother. Now, what did I want to say? I don't know. I'll let you take it for a minute while I collect my thoughts here.
No, yeah, I was just gonna say that is coming back to that point that you made earlier of choosing fully, right? I mean, we choose, but are we choosing? Are we willing to do everything? I'm imagining, the young kid at Yellowstone, right? Like a lot of remedial tasks, a lot of things. You're young, you're new, so that means that you're gonna get some of the things that aren't as glamorous because you gotta prove that you want this. You have to learn, so you have to learn all the areas. So, just using the dishes analogy, like choose to full like this is about fully choosing to be married because it's helping your wife. It's putting her in a different mindset. It's her seeing I can count on him to do this. It's her knowing that she can go to bed and it's done, not knowing is it going to be there in the morning and the day starts and now everything is, crazy. And that is one of those it's the big choice of being married, of staying married, is also little choices throughout your marriage, right? You can make the big choice, not going to step out, we're going to be married forever, fine. But then you have to make little choices each day, each month, each year, um, to accomplish that bigger goal or to stand by that bigger choice that you make.
Mhm. Yeah, that's I think where I was going as well. As you were speaking, we made a commitment. We stood before God, took our vows, right? And we so that's basically the process of making a commitment and stating who you're going to be. But how often do you fall short of being who you said you would? And I think if we reflect on that more often, we might just see how often we do fall short of that. Right. And I think largely that's why this podcast helps me so much because I get to reflect on that almost weekly. Right. Well, it is weekly because we put the episodes out weekly.
Yeah.
We just don't
Right.
always record every week. But with that frame of mind, I'm constantly going back to the well and thinking, what here can I improve? And I might have to go back to the same spot a few times, half the year, who knows? But
Yeah, at least more than I'd like to come back to it.
right.
Ideally, we like one and done, but that's not how it works.
Yeah. I don't know. It just shows me how I need to be better. It forces me into conversations that I wasn't having with my wife as she listens to the episodes and, you know, might pick up on something I said and wants to further explore, to put that nicely. But even with that, if I approach it with the mindset of I don't truly deserve this, it gives me the ability, the strength, the wherewithal to continue to work on myself and to continue to serve and to continue seeking that full commitment, full engagement, full heart of service, knowing that that would be the best version of myself to create the best version of our marriage.
That's the goal.
Yeah. And so, like, why do we forget that?
The ultimate question. I think it is just, I think it's life. I think it is consistency, right? If your wife she just continues to show up and she is there, it's almost like not thinking about sitting in this chair, right? Like I just sat down and I knew it was going to be there. A simple example, right? But like I know she's going to be there. I know what her strengths are. Like I know she's going to crush it because that is who she is. Um, and we always, that's the thing, you have to figure out how to bring it to the front because human nature is to see the danger, assess the situation, see what the danger is so that we, fight, flight, freeze. Like, what do we need to do to be better, to stay safe? And once we have safety, we kind of just sit back and we just lean into it. Like it's just the aura of everything that we live, right? It's just the flow of our life. But we have to actively think. I mean, I don't know why we do it, but we definitely have to figure out ways not to do it.
Yes. Yeah. Oh man, that hit home quite a bit. The chair analogy. It's just funny to me because I'm reflecting on so many other things that happen in our society, but yeah, it's as simple as a chair. It's sturdy. It does what it's supposed to do 99.99999% of the time. And we just expect it to be there. And we expect it to do its job. And it's a chair obviously, but if you think about other things, when you have that approach, it can often be thankless, right? That's just your job, like, right? And we can't take that approach with our wives, and I would dare to say they should not take that approach with us. um I think as men we could use some help from our our wives in the area of reinforcement and acknowledgement, right? When you might see that we're, I'll say, losing our way in a moment, right? Give us a little reinforcement that you see us making efforts and encourage us to continue to want to improve, right? Because I will say this, I've been caught in areas where I've been, trying very hard to improve an area, and maybe it feels like it's gone unnoticed. And then that makes it a lot easier to just kind of fall back and like, well, like you're not even noticing that I'm doing this, then why continue to do it, right? And you can't think of things that way, especially if you were specifically asked to improve in an
Right.
area,
Right.
right? Um, but yeah, it's chair, man. That's
Yeah, I mean, as we wrap up, I think that having just that just hit me so hard when you brought up the topic. Like, just looking at it like we don't deserve it and wanting to always reinforce and prove that we do, or that we respect that we have it. Right? We want to honor that we have this space. We want to honor that we have this marriage. We want to come humbly knowing that it could be different ways. It could be not amazing. It could not have happened at all. It could be not with this person. It could be a wreck. But honor what we do have, and know that if we don't actively attend, like, it could not be.
yep. Hey, just want to take a quick moment to remind everybody to link up with us on our socials, searching Marriage is Tougher across just about everything. Instagram, YouTube, marriageistougher.com, where you can request to be a guest on the show. There's a short form for you to fill out. You can give us topic ideas or just continue the conversation. Um, we want to link up with you guys. This is a do better, be better type of podcast and a take action podcast. So we hope you've received that encouragement today. Um, you know, it's it's awesome to reflect, and we hope that we are providing a space for you to do that, and that you're taking advantage of this, short recording, but um, just a space for us to have this community of men, of husbands wanting to be better. So, with that being said, we will talk to you next time.
See ya.